This episode goes out to Jocelyn in Santiago. Hi there, Garrett Robinson here. Welcome to the 8th episode of the Nightblade Epic Podcast Season 2. All right, listeners, hold on to your butts. We've got a super big announcement. The next brand new book of Underrealm is almost done and it's about to be released. But I'm not here to tell you about that today. I'm not giving you the title or a link where you can buy it, because we're going to be announcing all that later this week on Friday, January 17th, 2020 at 12:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There's going to be a live video stream in our Facebook group. We'll be telling you the title, all about the story, and we'll also be showing you the new book's cover, and trust me, it's going to blow you away. You really don't want to miss this one. So be in the Underrealm Facebook group this Friday, January 17th, 2020 at 12:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can join the group at underrealm.net/Facebook. And while you're at it, you should get on our email list. It's the best way to find out about all the latest developments in the world of Underrealm. This Friday, for example, we'll be sending an email alert when the live stream starts. So to join up, go to underrealm.net/free. Okay, now it's time for today's episode. Today, you're getting Chapter 11 of Mystic. When we left off, the wizard Zane had just discovered Lauren and Annis in possession of the Mage Stones. Enjoy! Mystic, Chapter 11. Where did you get those? Zane's voice came harsh, insistent, merciless as the look in his eyes. Lauren stepped forwards between the wizard and the Mage Stones upon the bed. They are hers. Where she got them is none of your concern. You must know what they are, said Zane. Of course they are my concern. Give them to me, at once. No, said Lauren, putting steel in the word. They are hers. Annis sat quivering upon the bed, her eyes wide on Zane's face. Jem stood uneasily at the back of the room, his hands twitching as though he longed to move but did not know which way to go. You could have no possible use for them, said Zane, and you do not know the danger you place yourself in carrying them upon you. At least in my hands they could be used to good purpose. With those stones I could return to the High King's seat and— He stopped suddenly, as though he feared to say more. Lauren turned back to Annis. Wrap them back up. Put them in your cloak. Do it. Annis jerked as though woken from a dream, and she hastened to comply. The Mage Stones vanished beneath the brown cloth. Zane took a step towards them. Lauren stepped to meet him, and her hand went to the dagger beneath her cloak. Foolish girl, said Zane, his voice rising. Lauren hoped it would not carry into the inn's other rooms. You know not what you trifle with. In your hands you hold the power to conquer a city. And the wealth, I imagine, to travel anywhere in the 9 lands we might wish, said Lauren. With the profits from those stones we mean to make good our escape and keep ourselves hidden from the long and grasping arms of the family Yaren. I will not lose that chance to you, wizard, not for any price beneath the sky. Zane's hands rose, and he whispered a word. A white glow grew in his eyes, and soon it eclipsed the meager candlelight flickering upon the room's only side table. Sparks danced above his fingertips. Lauren drew and brandished her dagger. The movement was instinctive, unthinking, and she balked at once. What would she do to protect Annis and the Mage Stones? Not kill Zane, that was certain. But if not that, then what? What could she do to stay the wizard if he decided to take the Mage Stones by force? She could take him in a fight, she knew, but his gift of magic would not make any fight fair. Only words could save them all now. Tell us what they are to you, she said quickly, as Zane's sparks danced higher. "What do you mean to do with them? What do the Maidstones do?" Zane blinked, and the light in his eyes dimmed somewhat. "You do not know their purpose?" "We know only that they are of a mighty value, and they lie well outside the king's law." He stared at her for a moment. Then, to her surprise, he laughed. After thinking a moment, he closed his fist to stop the sparks. The light left his eyes, and Lauren could feel the tension leak from his frame. He raised his closed fist to his lips, pursing them as he studied her. She could see thoughts brewing behind his eyes, and she was not entirely sure that she liked it. "Tell me everything you do know. Have you seen others deal with them? And where did you procure so many?" Lauren considered her answer. She feared to tell Zane the whole truth, knowing as little as she did about the stones. But neither did she know what lie to spin, for the wrong one could turn the situation from bad to worse. It seemed her best choice was to feed the wizard one truth at a time and feel her way forwards from his reaction. "Annis's mother, Damaris, gave us the stones," said Lauren. "Well, gave might be the wrong word. We stole them when we fled from her. Annis thought they might be valuable to the right buyer and could grant us the coin we needed to secure passage far away." Zane grunted. "You are right and wrong all at once and in different ways. Maidstones can earn one wealth, but they are more likely to land one in a constable's cell, soon to be killed slow. Take them into a trinket shop, and you will soon find yourself hard pursued by the king's law." "What are they, then?" said Lauren. "What makes them so dangerous?" Zane's eyes glittered as he studied Annis. The girl's hand still lurked beneath her cloak. "Though they look like hard black glass, the stones will break without too much effort. When placed upon the tongue, they melt like ice on a frying pan. Consuming them so increases a wizard's power many-fold. Weak wizards become strong, and powerful wizards, well, a powerful enough wizard may cast down a mighty castle. Long ago, wizard kings would use magestones as a weapon of war, and with such power they were unstoppable. It is just that power which led to the High King outlawing both wizard kings and magestones." Lauren felt that there was more to the explanation, but she did not know where to begin asking. "What do you want them for, then?" she said. "You seem mighty enough without their help." Zane studied Annis as though waiting for her to produce the maidstones once again. When she did not, he sighed and slumped back against the door, slowly sliding down to sit against it. His rear came down in the stew he had dropped upon the floor, but he took no notice. "It is true that I am uncommonly strong among my kind. Less than one born in 100 is a wizard, and less than one wizard in 100 is as mighty as I am." Jem snickered. "The wizard has a high opinion of himself." Zane's dark eyes flashed. "I give no idle boast, boy. I have heard as much my whole life, and have seen more than enough to convince me it is true. I bear no responsibility for my own power. It was a gift of my birth, and nothing more. But it would do neither of us any good to deny it." Lauren gave Jem a hard glare to keep him silent. The urchin snorted and turned away in dismissal, staring out the window. Lauren looked back to Zane. Now that he was talking, it seemed prudent to keep him going. "I say again, if you are so strong, what need have you of the maidstones?" Zane's look grew darker still. "Strong I said I was, and yet upon the High King's seat one may find many comparable wizards. We cannot rule, and yet we hold our own sort of power. Rulers enjoy collecting us like trinkets or furniture, to use as they see fit. Nowhere is this truer than at the court of the High King. One wizard there, a mind mage, was mighty in his gifts, and yet not so strong as I, and I, in turn, was mayhap more boastful than would have been prudent. In any case, he grew jealous, and when his envy festered into hate, he tried to murder my son." Lauren heard the word like a slap. "Son? You made no mention that you had a son." "And why should I?" said Zane, eyes flashing. "What concern is he of yours?" Lauren shook her head. "It paints you in a different light. I had not pictured you as a father." "A poorer one than I fear I should be," said Zane, his voice growing quieter again. In his gaze, Lauren saw a deep sadness, made the more poignant for the helpless tone of his words. "Now he lives at the court of the High King, guarded and safe, but without his father. I fear fate may keep us apart many years yet. How, then, can I claim any part in his upbringing? He is yet a boy, and unless I right the wrongs done to me, he will grow to a man far away from the only parent he has left." His voice twisted, turned to something broken, and Lauren averted her eyes in embarrassment. She had received precious little comfort when she cried as a child, and was unfamiliar with giving it. "Why did your rival try to harm him instead of you?" she asked, hoping to turn the wizard's mind to anger and keep him from the darker pit of grief. It worked. Zane's voice grew in strength as he continued. "The wizard's name is Dristan, and as I said, he could not best me in magic, no matter how he tried. I have known him a craven since first we met. Striking out at a child suits him far better than a fair fight against another wizard. Cowardice and deep pockets have long been ill friends, and Dristan is of the family Drayden." Annis and Jem both sucked in a sharp breath between their teeth. Lauren looked at them in confusion. "What is it? I do not know that name." "The Draydens are a family of merchants, like mine," said Annis. "But where my family's power comes from their wealth, the Draydens comes from their reputation, and it is among the darkest in the 9 lands. Where many fear to anger my family, most would slit their own throats before crossing the Draydens. And where my family has a reputation for walking outside the king's law, the Draydens are known as the darkest and most fell of criminals, whose black deeds in shadow and silence would send the hardest soldier's heart skipping." "Even Auntie feared the Draydens," put in Jem, "and she was mad enough to taunt constables when the mood caught her. She would accept any mark, target and steal from anyone who took her fancy, or even kill them. But she gave the Draydens a wide berth on the rare occasions they showed their haughty faces within Cabras's walls." Lauren shuddered. Jem's and Annis's words frightened her less than the tones of their voices. They sounded like old Bracken telling her a tale of some frightening ogre, a vicious monster that appeared in the night to drag children from their beds and swallow them whole. Zane nodded at Jem. "Every word you speak is true, and yet not the half of it. And Dristan is a festering sore of a man even upon the blight-ridden face of that family." "What did you do, then, when he attacked your son?" said Lauren. "From all your words, it would not seem wise to trifle with such a man." Zane stiffened as he scowled at her. "You think I should have let him get away? Bear a child of your own and then speak to me of prudence. If a man brandishes a knife at your flesh and blood and you do not act to turn the knife back on the wielder, I will call you a shameful kinsman, and no one I wish to walk beside." Lauren's cheeks burned. "I meant no offense, but whatever action you took, you ended up fleeing the king's law far from your family. How did that come to be?" Some of the fight left Zane. "When I heard what had happened, I sought Dristan out and confronted him. He was no match for me, of course, and I bested him quickly. I do not know if I would have killed him. Certainly I wanted to, but some part of me wants to think I would have stopped at the end, extracting a confession only to have him banished by the High King. But before I could, the Grand Magister arrived." "Who is the Grand Magister? Be silent, Jem." Jem folded his arms in a huff. Lauren turned back to Zane. I have told you I am powerful, even among wizards. Yet I have met others more powerful still, and the Grand Magister is such a one. He would not have received his placement at the court of the High King if he were a lesser wizard. He found me in Dristan's chambers and swiftly broke through my defenses, though I managed to make good my escape before Dristan could kill me. After the battle, any return seemed hopeless. The Grand Magister has long been in Dristan's pocket, and those pockets stretch to the bottom of the earth and out the other side into the great night. The little worm would certainly have kept the Magister nearby at all times, ready for any attempt I might make, without the power to defeat them both. His eyes strayed back to Annis, and to her hand where it rested beneath her cloak. I understand at last, said Lauren, her voice growing cool. You think that with the Maidstones you could best the Grand Magister and overpower Dristan all at once. And what then? Would you kill him? How would the king's law view such an act, especially if you used Maidstones to do it? Would you flee with your son and give him the same life you now live? If not that, then what do you suggest? Said Zane. Do I let Dristan run free? Would you, if it were your child? I find that hard to believe. Anyone, wizard or no, may do what they like with me. Threats and violence I faced before and will face again. But my son? Do you know what it is like to have your boy living in the court with the man who tried to kill him, and know you can do nothing? His voice grew almost pleading, and Lauren felt herself waver. Though she could never see herself wishing the death of another, still she could not imagine the mind of one who would kill a child, especially not for such a petty motive as envy. Almost she could see Zane's mind, and almost she felt herself agreeing with him. Suddenly Jem blurted a curse from the window. They have found us. What? Who? Said Lauren. Come see for yourself. Lauren leaped up and went to his side, and Zane came quickly to join her. Looking out into the dimming daylight, Lauren saw two dark-skinned men dressed all in green, their eyes upon the front door of the inn. This has been a production of Legacy Books, written and narrated by Garrett Robinson. The music in this podcast was created by Will Musser. Check out his incredible work at willmusser.com. That's WILLMUSSER.com. Today's letter is Y. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.